Hello, lovely human. Welcome to The Little Flower. My name is Krista, and I use the presence and essence of flowers along with the tarot to deliver messages to help you align to your most authentic and abundant nature and path. So, for today's Pick a Flower reading, we are doing a full moon in Capricorn reading. Today is Tuesday when I'm it's Monday when I'm recording this. I hope to post it on Tuesday the 8th. The full moon in Capricorn is on Thursday, July 10th, and we are in 2025 right now. This is a timeless reading though, so if you have found yourself here, any other time, this message is for you. If you feel called to it, this is your message. So the theme of this reading is your next step on your manifestation journey. It's as simple as that. We're just going to dive right in. I have 3 different flowers right here for you to choose from. The first one is a China rose. Group number 2 is a Clematis. And group number 3 is another China rose. So go ahead and pick a group, choose the corresponding timestamp down below, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, lovely human. Welcome to The Little Flower. If you have not been to my channel before, my name is Krista, and I use the presence and essence of flowers along with the tarot to deliver messages to help you align to your most authentic path. So for today's reading, I'm doing a full moon in Capricorn reading with the prompt being your next step on your manifestation journey. It's as simple as that. Let's go ahead and just dive down the rabbit hole. So you chose this lovely China rose that we have growing right out front. So the China rose is symbolic of love, beauty, and passion. Kind of simple, a little bit cliche, but I looked up the symbolism and then I looked at the flower and I was like, yeah, love, beauty, and passion. I will agree with you. Look at this beautiful thing. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and just put your flower right up here. Maybe, yeah, there we go. Looks nice up there. And your overarching theme card, I pulled from the Sacred Rebel Oracle, and I picked the Sacred Rebel Oracle for a reason. Capricorn is a sign of structure, and in its shadow, it can be oppressive. It can be a little bit leaning too into, I guess, that push energy, like force or push, and it can just be overly disciplinarian. And so I liked the idea of the Sacred Rebel in the midst of that energy, because sometimes you absolutely need that. You need your other energies, your other placements of your other signs to be able to break through and not heed to over oppressive energies. You are free, you are a free spirit. You are allowed to be a free spirit. I think there is a lot of positive to Capricorn, of course. The discipline, like positive discipline and endurance and steadfastness, seeing things through to the end. Of course, that is a beautiful energy of Capricorn. It's just, yeah, I like the Sacred Rebels in the middle of, because I'm a Capricorn and I tend to lean into that toxic, I guess oppressive energy. And it can be a shadow of mine. And so I also have a ton of Sagittarius in my chart. So I feel like that fiery energy is a good balance. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling. So the card I pulled for you is number 42. The word wants to be written. Okay, so it's pretty self-explanatory if you look at the image. I'm sensing that you have a powerful voice. You have words and encouragement, wisdom, truth that the world needs to hear. Just start sharing it. Just start sharing it. It doesn't need to come out perfect. It doesn't need to come out in a nicely wrapped, sweet little package that looks perfect or sounds perfect. You're just being called to speak your truth. That is the vibe here. So If you're someone who creates content, someone who shares your voice, someone who writes, there's a message here that just do the thing. Just do the thing. Be imperfect in it. The world needs what you have to give. So please give it. Give it generously. Your voice is your gift, and you are meant to share it with the world. And it doesn't matter, and also you're not meant to exploit it. You're meant to share it. It's a gift. It's a gift that's been given to you freely. So you're meant to give it to the world freely. Not that I'm against monetizing our work by any means. But I think in your case, whatever work it is that you're putting out there, I think it's important to look at it in that way. Look at it as, this is a gift I've been given freely, so I'm going to give it freely too. And whenever I feel called to do something to monetize it, I will do that as well. But I'm going to still openly, mostly give away, and that's going to lead me to where I'm meant to be. So that's your initial message. I'm going to pull a couple cards from the Shaman's Dream Oracle and see what else comes through. Also, the power of your word in manifestation. So, I'm imagining someone who's meditating, who's aligning to the frequency of what they want to create in their life, what they want to attract in their life, and potently aligning to the creation of life through the voice and through the word. And it's making me think of the Bible. And oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this. I'm going to actually look it up. Okay, so it's John 1:1, and it states, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." So, and then there's another Bible verse. By the way, it's 11:11 as I'm looking this up. And the fact that it was John 1:1, I think that's really significant. I think, one is such a powerful, and it's making me think of the magician. That's manifestation. One is a powerful number. It is birth. It is newness, freshness. It's the dawn of a new day. It's the beginning. It's the baby. It's the newborn baby. It's a powerful, and the fact that I am literally speaking, the Bible verse I'm actually seeking right now is, I think, in the beginning of Genesis, when God creates the heavens and the earth. I'm wondering if he uses that phrasing. I don't know who. Well, of course, yeah. I think the whole Bible was written by men. But yeah, the phrasing of using the word. I'm curious about that. Yeah, I mean, that is actually true. It says, for example, and God said, "Let there be light." God said these things. Yep. Okay. So, and I know all of you don't subscribe to the Bible, but I do. So, just take this as it resonates. But it says, "And God said, let there be light," and there was light. And even God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. That's speaking, that's labeling, that's voice. And then, and God said, "Let there be a vault between the water to separate the water from the water." All of it is, and then God said this. God said this. Okay, so, and if we are in the image of God, if we are made in the image of God, then we can manifest through the spoken word. That's literally, that's not all we have to do. Obviously, we have to we're on planet Earth and we have to put in work. We have to, co-create. But I think a powerful part of your manifestation power is your word, your voice. And so I think being very specific, and no, that's not my that's what I mean. Even as I said that, I wished I would have been more aligned with what I was about to say, because specific wasn't the word. I almost wanted to say something be less specific and be more aligned. I think aligned is the word. Find yourself aligned, and then let the words you speak out into the world, like the intentions you speak out into the world, be from a place where you feel aligned with your highest divinity, your highest self. And I think the way that's going to come through and the way that's going to feel is going to be more of like a texture, more of like an energetic frequency and power that pours forth from you, as opposed to like, okay, you know, when we create a vision board and we have all these specifics on the board, and or when we are just like journaling out, well, I want like a house in Portugal or da da da, you know what I mean? This is more of a frequency, and it's going to have that texture and that energy. And you're going to, like, the way you're going to manifest is going to be more from feeling your way through things and the texture of things. So the way they show up in the physical world isn't really so much the main concern. It's more the feeling of things. And even as I'm speaking right now, I'm kind of in that energy, because it's like my logical brain wants to pick it apart and label it and transmit it to you in a certain way. But, you know, my heart and my body and my being just wants to emit a frequency. So I know that's a little out there, but I hope that resonates with you. Okay, yes, let's pull more cards. All right. We have Me Talks, number 39, repairing the body, mind, and spirit. Okay. And then we also have number 36 with lost in space and needing direction. Okay. So I think this is my group that is getting lost in the details and needs to pull back, needs to align to your soul's frequency first and foremost, through meditation, through walks in nature, through music, through dancing, through shifting your frequency to a more peaceful state. There's a lot to be said about processing heavier energies and spending time in that space. But there's a message here that you've spent plenty of time processing the heavier sides of life, the heavier sides of your psyche, and it is time to raise that frequency. As cliche as that sounds, it is time to do things that get the endorphins flowing. Exercise, again, breath work, meditation, yoga, long walks, spending time in the sun, spending time in nature, whatever brings your energy up. So if you are feeling like waves of heavy energy, you're meant to transcend it. And I don't mean spiritual bypassing. I mean rising above like old patterning in your being that simply isn't serving you, that's gone stale, that is ready to be let go of. It is time. It is time to transcend it. So when you're feeling overwhelm, when you're feeling confusion, when you're feeling an intensity, anxiety, stress, whatever it may be, when you have an inclination to want to pick something apart and figure out what's going on logically, you're being called to do the opposite and just break away from it and raise your frequency and seek out peace and joy. Yeah, because I heard the word, I was speaking in a sentence earlier and I heard the word peacekeeping, and that didn't make logical sense to me, but it does make it does make sense. Like if peacekeeping is a verb, like an action that you can do, like is something you can, maintain in your life. Like, oh, like I'm actively keeping the peace in my life. I'm actively, de-stressing myself. I'm actively seeking out bliss. I'm actively seeking out relaxing experiences. That kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to pull some more. Ooh, I'm going to pull a couple cards from the Earth Magic Oracle. All right. We have winter solstice with reflection and rain with purification. It's in keeping. Rain with purification is in keeping with me talks, repairing the body, mind, spirit. Yeah, you're repairing your nervous system. You're repairing your calm, your chi, like you're calming your chi. Like you're taking, it's not even like, oh, I'm going to take a little bit of time here and there. You're recreating your lifestyle to maintain a sense of, like, a stable sense of peace. And you're deciding, like, you're choosing it. That's what part of what you're speaking into existence is peace. And you're not, and it's not even like, I'm getting this feeling of like, oh, I'm not putting up with anything that affects my peace anymore. Whereas before you might have blamed the outer circumstance or the outer person that has quote unquote affected your peace negatively. This is you deciding, you know what, that's okay. Like, that's okay that they did that. That's a them thing. That's not a me thing. And I'm not going to pick it apart. I'm not going to look at it as a problem to solve. I'm just going to brush it away. You know, that kind of thing. Again, I want to preface that by saying, obviously, if there's some really toxic shit going on and you need to confront something, that's a different story. I'm just talking like general little, like, here and there things that might bother you that aren't really worth, like, making anything other out of, you know, that kind of thing. Like, if they may get to you over time, normally they're not anymore, that kind of thing. Okay, so we're finally getting into the tarot here. And let's see what else we have. Yeah, with rain and purification, it's like a purification of, like, your reaction system, like how you react to the world around you, how you react to your circumstances, how you react to the people around you, to your culture, to your city, to your town, to the traffic that you drive in every day. Like, how you're reacting to everything is being purified. Like, and it's like, it has something to do with, like, your nervous system, and it's like a ingrained part of your being. You've decided to change. You've decided no longer. You've decided that you can change the way you react to the world around you. That is one thing that is in your control. And you've decided to choose to take control over it because it is in your control. Again, you can't change the world around you, but you can change the way you react to it. Okay, so we have, Mother of Wands, Queen of Wands, Seven of Wands, Six of Cups, Five of Swords, Ten of Swords. Yeah, we're really putting an end to toxic ways of dealing with conflict in our lives. That's the feeling. Six of Wands. That's nice. Ooh, Nine of Cups. This is a good trajectory. Nine of Wands. We have quite a lot of fire energy. All right, I kind of want to, like, I need a little bit more space. I want one more card, and I'm going to put this next card in the center. Or wait, yeah, in the center. So, uno momento. Okay, what's our final card? I'm excited. Okay, Page of Cups. All right, I like Page of Cups for this. Daughter of Cups. It's making me think of, like, making light of things, like being able to have a sense of humor about things, and just like not taking life so seriously anymore. If whatever it is you're manifesting in your life has not been turning out the way you'd hoped, or if you're looking around you and all you see are reasons that your manifestation is not coming to pass, your entire worldview on how manifesting works in the first place is being flipped on its head. So no longer is your gauge for whether or not your manifestation is coming to pass is the physical representation of it. When you look around, you see a physical representation. From here on out, your gauge for whether or not your manifestation is coming to sorry, I'm kind of stumbling over my words. Coming to pass is internal. It is the internal spiritual soul navigation that you exist as and within your soul's compass that you can't see in the physical world. You can only feel it. And the only indicator of manifestations that come from this soul's compass and intention is going to be life, is going to be something that reflects back to you the love you know you're worthy of, the freedom you know you're worthy of, the overflow, the joy, the peace, the healing, the bliss. When something comes into your world and reflects this back to you, that's when you'll know things are happening. When you come across internal obstacles, you'll know that they are simply patterns that are being broken and that you have choice through it all. And you can still continue to speak into existence what you're manifesting, even when, you're seeing everything in terms of texture and frequency as opposed to what it looks like. I was also thinking of like blockages that have gotten in the way in the past that have showed up as like a negative voice in your head, doubts, limiting energies, external circumstances that you're blaming for not being able to move forward. You know, before it would show up and look like that and feel like that, and then you would take heed to it. And now you're seeing everything like that, and you're not caring about what your mind or your ego is labeling as like the culprit, the obvious culprit, the external thing that's a problem. You know, you're looking deeper and you're digging, like I don't even know if I want to use the word digging, like you're just observing what's going on, and you're feeling out the frequency of it, and you're like, okay, whoa, why am I feeling this? What could this possibly mean? Like, I know and I have faith that in what I'm creating and where I'm like what I'm walking towards. So what is this quote unquote blockage? What is this frequency that's really uncomfortable that, you know, feels like it's trying to hold me back? You're able to observe it from a higher standpoint, and you're able to let it pass through you and still continue to take those choices in faith rather than fear. So, that was like a full-blown channeled message. I haven't even looked down at the cards. I love, because so the two heavier cards that we have here, they're in the center, and it's the Five of Swords, which is kind of a harsh conflict card, and the Ten of Swords, which is a harsh ending. And so you could be with all of the one energy and the fact that you are group number one, that was coming through, that pure, new, fresh beginning. It could be like this intense conflicty energy is the portal, is what's going to hone you in and hone your soul in to like shoot yourself through this portal. So we're not getting swept up in it. We're not feeling overwhelmed by it. We're seeing it as an indicator that you are doing the right thing. And the fact that it's pushing you deeper into your soul and into your soul's compass and into your soul's voice, that is your indicator that it is exactly where you need to be right now. This is exactly how you manifest and how you create and where, and like, this is what's going to bring you the most fulfillment by, again, you know, being more in the frequency of your soul's compass as opposed to caring about how everything looks in the physical world. So yeah, the conflict energy is just, and I don't want to say like the final test or anything. It's just, it's, let me think, how do I put it? Like, to me in my head, like as I'm speaking, it's like, oh, that makes sense. Why wouldn't it be intense just before you like break through to a new cycle? But why should it? That's my other question. I'm like, I don't know why it makes sense, but it does. Maybe it has held you back in the past. Maybe you've taken heed to these voices and it's slowed you down. And it feels as if it's like too obvious at this point. Like it's something that it has become unignorable. And I think the intensity of it is simply that. It's like, okay, well, I know what I'm creating. I know where I'm going. And the intensity of this, like, it's just like I can't do it anymore. It's like creating the circumstances for me to be that sacred rebel and bust through to the next. Like, it's just so uncomfortable that you have to do something. You have to do something different. You have to make a different choice. You have to not pay heed to the thing that wants to pull you into the coping mechanisms or the comfort zone, and you want to make that other choice instead that gets you where you actually want to be. Okay. I feel like I've beat that message like to death, but anyway, so I like that we have 2 6s, right? We're kind of like moving outward with the tarot here. We've got 2 6s here. We've got the 6 of Wands and the 6 of Cups. So the 6 of Cups makes me think, in this context, for some reason, it's making me think of your authentic nature and light, like the soft light that you are, the vulnerable light that you are, you being able to exist freely in the truest essence of you, and that inner child just feeling so safe and so free. And the 6 of Wands is all of that, everything I just said, but feeling safe within your community, feeling safe being seen, feeling safe having people, having how do I put that? Because I'm trying to like, during this reading, pay heed to, you know, your manifestation process, which is, you know, that feeling out, that soul compass and texture thing. And with the 6 of Wands, it's like, okay, being seen, typically it talks about being seen, being acknowledged, being uplifted by your community, being recognized. And so to me, that's, you know, that's the external reflection. What's the internal reflection of that? I think it's like feeling honored and feeling really, truly loved for who you are, because, feeling known. Okay, camera timer timed out, but I only said a few things after it did. So I was talking about the 6 of Wands and how your soul reflection of the 6 of Wands is feeling known, feeling understood, feeling loved, truly, truly loved, exactly for who you are. Like feeling that, not just knowing it cognitively, but like feeling it in your soul to the depths of you, how lovable you are, and like feeling that from other people. So that's absolutely beautiful. And then we have the 9 of Cups here, which is a wish fulfillment. It is emotional fulfillment. It is happiness. It is a full cup. It is feeling overflowing gratitude. And I believe that this way of manifesting is what's going to get you to that point, your wish fulfilled. So there probably are, obviously, I think we live on Earth. We are human. We are in the physical domain, and we do have physical needs and desires. I do believe that you are going to attain the physical representation of what you want. I know that you have physical desires, you know, whatever they may be, and you will receive them. I think you activating this form of manifestation from your soul's compass is going to be the best way and quickest way that you can get to the reception of those physical representations of your soul desires and needs, in a way where when you're in them, you're truly immersed and you are truly living in gratitude and in presence with all of it, you know, like feeling, I guess, a part of it all and deserving of it all, and in a place of ease and flow and peace about it all, and like, yeah, like no conflict, just acceptance and peace and gratitude and worthiness around it. So, okay. The Nine of Wands is reflective of what we were saying, or what I was saying earlier about how, you know, those intense energies just before like the breakthrough happen. That's kind of what the Nine of Wands is. So I don't know if I'm going to touch on it too much. I think it's just a confirmation of what we've been saying, especially since it's kind of helping to book in the reading. I think it's a strong energy right now for you. So again, if you are feeling overwhelmed, confused, or lost, or feeling like hopeless, or feeling like things aren't working out the way you thought, think again, because you're actually just right, like just before the breakthrough. And again, if you take the advice of aligning to your soul's compass, you'll be on the other side before you know it. And it will be a lot more easy, like easeful, you know, the process will be a lot more easeful and fortifying and centering, definitely. I also like that we have the Seven of Wands here. It is about defending your stance. Okay, cool. Yep. I think also if there are external energies that are doubting what you're manifesting, you are meant to, through this, you know, deepening into your soul. I keep calling it soul compass. I'm just going to keep calling it that. Your soul's compass, and following that wholeheartedly, just with conviction. There is that element of disregarding external doubt. So that could be one of the things and the energies that creep in that slow you down or hold you back, typically, that you're not heeding anymore. So be really vigilant, you know, be vigilant about what, and more aware, just be conscious and aware of what's holding you back from doing the things that you really want to do. And the voices that tell you that it's not worth it, or that, oh, you can put it off till next week, it's fine, but really your soul really wants to do it right then and there. It's like, or, oh, I'm too tired. Like, and sometimes it's okay to take care of your body and soul, but other times I think there can be like you saying, I'll put it off next week. Oh, I can take a break, or, oh, I can chillax. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, like look a little deeper just to make sure, like, is this like a really true soul break that you need? Or is this just something like you're putting off because you're overwhelmed by like getting over that hurdle of the doubt, and over like, is this worth it? Or, is this going to pay off, kind of thing? And like, or any external voices that are kind of just creeping in and blocking you. It could literally be people who block you, like who are wanting to take up a lot of your time when really you want to, put work into something that's your own. That's, like, it could be creative projects you're working on, or whatever it is. Yeah, just be aware of that. Like, as I'm speaking, like, you can see my hand up here, like I'm wanting to like create a boundary. So I think there might be some loose boundaries in your energy field, and we need to shore that up and take responsibility and speak up for our needs. So we have the Queen of Wands. Okay, so I like that we have two Wands cards, like bookending the reading. Like power, confidence. I think you are walking into... Okay, so following this journey into the manifestation of your soul's deepest longings and desires, and sticking to it unwaveringly, being your number one cheerleader the whole time, and advocating for yourself, like making sure that you create the space you need to walk towards what you want to walk towards. It's building an inner sense of confidence in yourself and your ability to take care of yourself, provide for yourself, your ability to navigate the waters of your life with ease and with confidence. Your ability to do and create whatever it is you want to do and create on this planet. Like your personal power to create life the way you want to see it, to create abundance, to create joy, to create beauty, to spread love, whatever it may be that your soul desires to do for this planet and for humanity. Your confidence is growing because of your resilience, your determination, your inner power, your trust in yourself, your protection of your dream, your steadfast action steps that you continuously take without giving up. You will barely recognize yourself on the other side of this journey. But at the same time, it will feel like this is the only way it could have gone. And you will know that this is who you've been all along. It's just you just had to go on this journey to fully get there and feel it and embody it. So, okay, I'm going to pull one last card from this Vibrational Energy Oracle card deck. And there's a little message in each, for each one. So I'm going to read the messages. I might pull, I don't know, I think I'll pull 3. And I want to read all 3 messages because they're just like short little paragraphs. All right, what do we have for group number 1? Okay, we have cellular collapse. Oh, that's like these patterns, these things that you're breaking by making new choices and ignoring like those energies that want to creep in and slow you down. Those energies, like that cellular collapse, like those frequencies are collapsing in your being, like those neural pathways literally in your body and being are collapsing, and new ones are being built in their place that are more fortified, more confident, more powerful, more trustful of who you are and where you're going. Secondly, you have shift it. Yes, shift it. That's literally you. Like you're making the choice to change things, and it's coming from this deep soul place, this energetic place. And then lastly, there you go. Blessings, 9 of Cups, blessings. Look at that. The divine is blessing you with everything that you desire, everything that you want to create. That is the culmination of this journey. You are like everything, your determination is, everything's paying off. It's all paying off. And you will find yourself in that beautiful reality where you are confident and in your power and trustful of who you are and validated, and you did it. You did it yourself. You validated yourself this whole time. And you're going to feel amazing, and you're going to feel and know that from that point you can do anything, and you're going to rise to that. Your biggest dreams, like your lifelong dreams, are all possible, and you are going to go on that journey. So, okay, really beautiful. I don't really think I want to read the little books because I think that was a really beautiful message without the books. So we're going to leave it at that. Thank you so much, group number 1. This was a beautiful reading, and I hope I see you in another reading. By the way, I had restarted like the timer thing a couple times, and since that one had ran out, and literally as I pressed record off just then, it was at 11:11. Just so you know. All right, thanks. Bye. All right, my lovely human. If you'd like to be supported by me more deeply through powerful energy healing transmissions that serve as monthly anchor points to keep you grounded and aligned to your most fulfilling and abundant path, along with access to a growing collection of exclusive soulful pick-a-flower readings, I'd be honored to have you in the sacred space of my Little Flower Patreon community. My intention is for this space to be a spiritual lifeline to healing, clarity, and soul alignment. A sacred container that leaves you feeling free and safe to unfold into your most authentic and abundant nature. I've made this accessible at just $8 per month, intentionally so as the number 8 symbolizes abundance, balance, and unity. If you feel called, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to the Little Flower YouTube channel, as all of these exchanges help not only for my channel growth, but for me to feel connected to the fabric of the community who finds their way into the energetic space I've created. Feel free to browse my single infinite prayer energy healing transmissions, check out my adorable merch featuring my bee and flowers logo and the phrase, "Hello, lovely human," and leave me a tip, or in other words, buy me a coffee if you feel called to. I sometimes offer personal readings, so be on the lookout for open slots for those as well. Everything you'll need is listed in the description box below. Last but not least, I have another YouTube channel called Soul Hearken, which is my heart and soul in video form. If you feel called to it, I'd be honored to have you over there as well. With so much gratitude, I send you prayers of happiness, peace, health, and wealth. You are honored and loved. Hello, lovely human. Welcome to the Little Flower. If you have not been to my channel, my name is Krista, and I use the presence and essence of flowers along with the tarot to deliver messages to help you align to your most authentic and abundant nature and path. So for today's reading, I am doing a full moon in Capricorn reading. I am recording this on Monday. I will post this on Tuesday, and the full moon's on Thursday. I don't know why I had to say all that, but the full moon's coming up, and I just wanted to put this out there. Around that time, it's a full moon in Capricorn. I am a Capricorn, so maybe that's why I felt inspired to do this reading. But yeah, so the next steps in your manifestation is the theme of the reading, and you chose the beautiful, I think it was called the large flowered or the large bloomed, anyway, it's Clematis. So it's one of the bigger forms of Clematis. This one actually, weirdly, it looks big, but it was one of the smaller blooms. So these are actually really massive. So the Clematis, the symbolism that popped out to me when I was looking it up was ingenuity and mental beauty. And it made me really happy as someone who has dealt with mental health problems for like my entire adult life. The idea of mental beauty and the mind being surrendered to the heart and the soul and reflective of that, you know, is a really hopeful feeling for me. So I hope that's feels the same for you, like the idea of having a beautiful mind and, you know, it feeling in harmony with the rest of your being. I really hope and pray that's something that you come to know what that feels like, because I know I've felt that before, but it's been like few and far between, you know? But my hope for you, and maybe this is a sign just because I'm thinking of it as this flower is standing here, the flower's standing here, you know what I mean? My hope for you is that you find that mental beauty and you get to live it out with longevity, and you get to know what that feels like to have a healthy and calm and balanced and free mind, you know? So anyway, I'm going to put your Clematis right up here as a presence for us during our reading, and we're going to get right into it. So I pulled a card from the Sacred Rebels. I pulled the Sacred Rebels deck intentionally because Capricorn tends to be like a disciplinarian, kind of more structured sign, and I like the idea of like a rebel breaking out of its box. So anyway, you got number 9. What do you feel? And it has the word you in parentheses, so that's making me think of like you feeling overwhelmed. And even this woman, she looks confused, like she's looking at the world. She's got an apple, like apples and oranges, too many choices, 7 of Cups vibes here. But it's almost like this is kind of giving me the vibe of someone who is focused on what she thinks are her choices in front of her, which are apples and oranges. And really she's like, and then she's staring up at this earth right here. Like it's a sphere, it's the earth. And then around it is some sacred geometry. And it's almost like, oh, like I'm looking at this. It hadn't occurred to me that I could have that. It hadn't occurred to me that that could actually take place in my life, that I could actually create that. So there could be some new insights around how you're going to manifest, what you're going to manifest, like ways of being and thinking around it that maybe perhaps you haven't thought of before. So I'm just going to set this here for now and pull a couple more cards from the Shaman's Dream and see what else comes through. What do you feel? Oh, feel. In my head, it was saying, what do you want? I mean, I know I said, what do you feel? But for some reason it said, I was thinking, what do you want? But I like that it's like, what do you feel? Maybe it's not coming from like a mental place. It's coming from a heart place. And weirdly, that was the message that came through in group number 1. It's like your mind will reflect and I think I said this in group number 1, but surrender, like your mind being surrendered to the heart and soul, and your mind, like kind of what you, it's more about, I was saying like the mental, like the ego-based thought construct of what you're manifesting versus like the textures and the feelings of it. So with this saying, what do you feel? I think when you're looking at choices and options in your life, instead of rationally trying to pick through it and figure out what's best for you and what you think you need, what you think you want, you're meant to go within and listen to your heart and listen to your emotions and how things are, like how your body's responding to the option, how your soul feels about it. Even like literally we are putting our logical mind to bed during this process. We're going through everything like, and this actually does feel like thinking about like physical manifestation. So like, say you're choosing between moving to live in Portugal, or or Canada. Sorry, I'm in Canada right now. I'm just thinking of those obvious choices in my head. And Portugal, I love Portugal. So you're choosing to live in either Canada or Portugal. And you have all these logical thoughts around why each one would make sense for you. But your soul knows best. And that's all you need to do is pay heed to that. Oh my gosh, I feel like this is an extension of group number 1 because I kept saying soul's compass in group number 1. But yeah, all you need to do is pay heed to that soul compass. And this feels like emotion based. This feels like, what is your heart telling you? How do you feel? Does this option evoke joy inside your being for no logical reason, you know? Does this option make you feel excited? Does this option make you feel giddy, you know? Like, I think you're looking for those types of feelings. Even when they don't make sense. So yeah, definitely confusion. Like it almost, like I would say if you are in a state of deciding something or weighing options, this could definitely be your group. Okay, so we have number 28 with hollow bone and teachability. And then we have number 37, magician's sword, confidence in your magic. Magician makes sense. Magician is about manifestation and life creation. Ooh, I like that these two cards, 37 and 28, reduced to 10. That is that like culmination, completion, new beginning. And then in the center here, we have 9. So this is representing like the end, like an ending and a new beginning. This must be a collective thing because we did have a similar message again in group number 1, like endings and like it was more so focused on the new beginning, honestly, in group number 1. I need more cards. Let's see what else we can get. I mean, I'm confused. Like, I'm confused in this reading. I'm feeling what you're feeling. Like, I don't know. Like, what could that mean? But that doesn't make sense. Why would I, Yeah, that's the vibe. Okay. Whoops. These cards just don't want to. Okay, here we go. I'm confused. I feel like this is truly an extension of group number 1, and I'm super confused. And it's just in keeping with the energy so far, because group number 1, and you heard me and saw me shuffle these up, they got the exact same 2 earth magic cards in the exact same like placements on the spread. So I'm just going to assume that group number 1 and 2 are really strongly connected, even if it's like friendship energy, like someone who would have, or like soul family energy, like someone who would have, needed the message for group number 1 is like a best friend of someone who needed the message in group number 2. That's the vibe. It's like I'm seeing like 2 rings, so it could be like partnership energy. That's interesting. So it like a loved one. If you want to check out what a loved one's reading would be, if you feel called to, and if that feels like you're not violating any energetic boundaries and it feels safe to do that, group number 1 could be their reading. Okay, that's interesting. I've never had that happen before. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the tarot. This woman on this "What do you feel" card is wearing like a professional shirt with like a tie, but it's all like unbuttoned and like weirdly, you can tell she doesn't have a bra on. Like the tie is loosened. It's almost like we're releasing like old structures that bound us, or like old ways of being or societal conditioning that bound us. And ooh, I like the idea of weighing options in a positive way. It's not, like the options aren't a bad thing. Like it's amazing that you have options sitting right in front of you, and you have like the world at your fingertips, and you can do anything. I can see how that would get confusing and overwhelming. But nonetheless, it's a really beautiful place to be, because you can create anything. With this Magician's sword, confidence in your magic, perhaps that's where you're being called to root yourself, is into your confidence in your decision-making power, and recognizing the indicators in your being of what's the next right move for you, and you developing that muscle in decision making, and confidence in your decision making, and like a releasing and a letting go of the attachment to the outcome of that decision making, a releasing and a letting go of the confinements of there's one right decision and I have to find it. There's not one right decision. There are many beautiful decisions that you can make that will lead you to your destination. And so there's only the next decision that feels right in your body and your emotions, in particular for you, in your emotional reality, in your heart. Okay. I like that with, hollow bone, teachability. It's almost like we're fortifying something within us and we're strengthening something within us that helps us to see how capable we are of making the right decisions for ourselves. That's the feeling. Nope, got that. Okay, so we've got the Wheel of Fortune, the Hierophant, the Daughter of Wands or the Page of Wands, the Four of Swords, the Daughter of Pentacles or the Page of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles. That's literally the Two of Pentacles, like weighing options, weighing 2 things. Wow, another page. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, oh yeah, Page of Swords, 2 more maybe. The 8 of Swords. And lastly, we have Temperance. Okay, so now teachability is really starting to come to light. Like, you have a whole new journey ahead of you of soul development, where you're learning to trust in yourself more. You're learning to trust in your path more. You're learning to trust in your place on your path. Like, for instance, if you're questioning where you are, 15:15 when I looked up at the camera timer. 15, what is that? The tower. No, 16 is the tower. What's 15? 15 is the devil, I think. Yeah, 15 is the devil. And the devil is actually associated with Capricorn. And the devil is like that questioning voice inside, that's trying to trip you up. I feel like the devil just, like, I feel like I just got tripped up. That's weird, because I was on a trajectory of what I was saying, and then the 15:15 almost distracted me a little bit. Yeah, like distractions from your true path. I think you might be getting lost in the details. You might be getting lost in the options. You might be getting overwhelmed. You might be getting distracted by like sparkly things, distracted by like instant gratification as opposed to looking at long-term results and objectives. And this can be in varying degrees. I mean, maybe some of you it's just like minor, but other time, maybe some of you it's actually major and it's a huge shift that you need to participate in. But again, with the 3 pages and teachability, I believe that you are being taught something right now. And I think you're meant to humble yourself to the universe's wisdom and to what's wanting to come through for you. You could be a very wise person. You could be someone who has mastered a lot within your own being, has mastered a lot on the physical plane, and who feels confident in many aspects of your life. But this muscle that you're toning within your soul has to do with your confidence in your ability to like do this, like do the damn thing, like do this life and make shit happen for real. This is a healthy discipline that you're learning. The Hierophant in its purest essence is a surrender to and a humbling to a higher power, a humbling to ancient wisdom that's been held sacred over eons. The energy that's coming through overall is a feeling of someone who has the power to make great impact on the planet, make great impact in their community, make great impact in the human race, and who is tripping themselves up on their journey, who is, again, lost in the details, lost in the day-to-day, lost in the overwhelm of it all. And you are being called into that humility, into that discipline, into that hyper focus and awareness, into a heartfelt knowing of where you're going, what you're creating, into ultimate trust in that creation, into ultimate trust in who you are, and knowing that God, the universe, spirit can transform you as you go along into the person that can manifest those powerful changes in the impact that you're meant to create on this planet. You have to start where you're at. You have to come back down to earth and take the little day-to-day steps. The Daughter of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles is the one that's in the center of this reading. And your passion and your intellect can support you, but it's your groundedness and your day-to-day discipline and action steps towards what you're creating, and those action steps being surrendered to that higher power, being surrendered to that higher wisdom, being teachable, learning, seeking out classes, seeking out the wisdom that you need, reading books, whatever it is, like whatever you feel called to do, like deciding to be teachable, deciding to allow yourself to be shaped by something that is more powerful than you, by something that is the core, exists as the core of who you are, ultimately. You are called. You are called. And to answer the call, you have to surrender and trust and listen and believe and know that it's not all about you, and it's not all about how you're showing up or what you look like when you're showing up, or if you're capable of doing these lofty things that you want to do. It's more about you humbly showing up and knowing that something bigger than you can work through you, even when you don't feel ready, even when you feel like you're not in the right energy to do something. For instance, I felt that way coming to this reading. I felt, oh, I feel like I'm in a crappy mood, or I feel like I'm in a yucky energy. And I had this feeling of like, you know what? God can work through me. Like all I have to, oh, that's what came through the phrasing. When I show up for myself, God shows up for me. That was what it was. And so I think that's a good mantra for you. When I show up for myself, God shows up for me. So like that discipline of like just doing the thing, even though you don't want to, or you feel uncomfortable doing it, just show up. And I think having like in that moment, instead of like being uncomfortable and negative about it and doing it anyway, I think if you shift it as like, well, you know what, like my higher power, like God is gonna take care of everything, and you know, God's more powerful than I am. So like I know when I show up for myself, God shows up for me, and I don't have to worry about it. Like it just takes the pressure off. And I think overall you can look at your life like that. You can look at your big lofty dreams like that. You can look at the impact that you desire to make on this planet like that. You know, when I show up to that work, even if I don't feel like it, even if I feel yucky and gross or my energy's off, I don't care. Like God's still going to show up for me. You do the small daily task, you know, you chop wood, carry water. And when you look back at your life after you've done that consistently, you will be amazed by, you know, what you've accomplished. Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, and I think with the Eight of Swords here, I just think that's you breaking out of your cage and your entrapment. You know, it's like self-doubt and feeling like maybe even unworthy, or feeling like, how the hell am I ever going to get to a place? How am I going to be that person that I see myself as in my future when I feel the way I do right now? You'll get there. It's one little baby step after the next of showing up for the thing, you know, and showing up for what feels right in the next moment, and listening to your heart and listening to that guidance. That's all it takes. It's a day-to-day thing. It's discipline. And I think it's worth it to you because you know what you can do for others. And I think that's your most powerful driving force is the way you can make others feel, and the impacts, yeah. The powerful positive impact that you can have on the people that you seek to help, or the natural world that you seek to renew or restore, you know, whatever it is that you feel called to do. Now, the only two cards I haven't touched on, well, we've got this Wheel of Fortune and the Four of Swords here. They feel linked a little. So the Four of Swords is about taking care of yourself. It's about rest. I think this is about intentional rest. And earlier when I did see it, like I caught a glimpse and I thought, okay, you might be in a moment of shifting, and like it might feel like nothing's happening, but everything, like with Temperance here too as well. That's the other card I didn't touch on. That's funny. These three cards. You are in an alchemical process of change, and of change in your direction, change in the way in which you're relating to your path, to your calling, change in the way you live your day to day, that humbling feeling, you know, that grounded feeling, that bringing yourself down to earth. And temperance can be about like tempering excess and just focusing on like the nitty gritty, you know, kind of just like focusing on the basics. And I think that's something you're called to do. Each task that you're called to do on the day to day is simple in its own small essence. But added up, they build and they culminate into something beautiful and something amazing that you're meant to co-create with spirit, with God on this planet. So go after it. Do what you're called to do. You're needed. Like whatever it is that you're called to do, we need you to do that. You know, people are suffering. The planet is suffering. We need every little bit of help that we can get. And I think you're the type of person that won't feel satisfied. Like if you're not, like if you get to your old age and you look back and you didn't do the thing, I think you're going to be really regretful that you didn't. And I hate to say that, but I mean, maybe that's like helping this kick in the ass to just, you know, do the little things and keep all of your dreams and all of the vision that you have at the forefront of where you're going, and know that like any little step you take towards any of those visions that you have is doing something, you know. So don't put things off. If you can do something right now, go ahead and do it. Don't burn yourself out, of course. Like the Four of Wands, or the Four of Wands, swords and wands. Maybe the Four of Wands and swords that's kind of cool. Like happy home, like rest in the home. You know, creating a safe home life, creating a peaceful home life, being able to break off and enter into a peaceful soul state. Like obviously your whole life's not going to be this drive and this mission. But I think, you know, ultimately at this point in your life, this is the message you need to hear, you know? So there's a balance. Two of Pentacles is about balance, like, and Temperance is about balance. I think there is a balance that you will strike, you know, when it comes to your soul's mission, the work you want to do, what you want to put out there. Well, the Wheel of Fortune, to me, like my feeling of the Wheel of Fortune is that God's hands all over everything, and God has like a path set for you. Like God has a plan. And again, I think it was you that I said, you know, there are many choices you can make that will still lead you to your destination. You need to trust that, like trust in your choices. There's not just one specific choice to make. So I think like God, like in this context, like the Wheel of Fortune's coming through is like God's bigger than all of that. God can take whatever choices you make as long as they're in earnest intention for these soul mission desires to come to fruition, and you're doing what you feel is right in the moment to walk towards the fruition of your vision. God can use that for good no matter what it is. So trust in that. Trust in your choices. Trust in where you're at. Trust in the choices you made to get to where you are. Trust in where you are, and trust yourself moving forward, that no choice is the wrong choice. You've got this, and you're on the right path. Okay, so I'm going to pull a few cards from the Vibrational Energy Oracle cards and see what else comes through. Oh, and then I think that will be your reading. I hope it wasn't a little too confusing at first. I feel like at first, I mean, it just felt confusing. So maybe it wasn't that confusing in like my wordage, like the way I was describing things, but it felt even like me, like reflecting back on that confusing energy is just getting me all over the place again. So we're just hope it resonated. Okay. Group number 2. What else? Okay. Shut the fuck. Like seriously, dude. Like, okay. Group number 1 got this card in the same location. Cellular collapse. So I do think there's some sort of union between you and group number 1. You are group number 2, and 2 is a representation of union. Cellular collapse. You and group number 1 are recreating like neural pathways in your being. The way in which you're living your life moving forward is not going to look the same as the way in which you lived it before, because you're living more purposefully, you're living more intentionally, and your decisions in your day-to-day is way more aligned with your soul's mission. So, and you're doing a beautiful job at it. Like, you are doing a beautiful job of taking care of yourself, listening to your heart, listening to your soul. In fact, I think the reason why you are going to be able to live this new lifestyle that is more aligned is because you're taking better care of yourself, because you're taking time out to listen, to, let go of the noise, let go of the ego, let go of all the confusion and the choices, and to just listen to your soul and follow that soul's path. I think that's why, so I do sense that your path is beautiful moving forward, and I'm not worried about you not taking care of yourself, because you need to take care of yourself to be able to follow that soul's compass. Your next, group number, it's probably going to be the same. Let me see if it's the same. Oh, good. There's one different. So group number 1 got this shifted in the center too. And I do think that's like, there's a huge shift in how you're living your life and the discipline of your life. And then we've got clean sweep. So group number 1 didn't get that. And I like that it's called clean sweep. It's like clearing the energy. So I bet group number 3 will be clean, fresh energy. I mean, not that you get what I'm saying. Not that this isn't clean, fresh energy, but clean sweep. Okay. I think you're going to move into this new lifestyle more easily than you think you are. I think you're going to embrace discipline more easily, embrace like learning, whatever it is you need to learn. Maybe some of you are wanting to get like certified in something that you really need to get certified for. Something medical or something, something like with the body, or I'm thinking of like a doula. Just, it doesn't even have to be obviously medical, but like something that it feels like you need training in whatever it is you're moving forward with. So I would encourage seeking out training and using that, that heart-centered, like feeling energy to decide which training to take, and not necessarily your logical brain. So the clean sweep, it just feels like a fresh, like a fresh new way of being that feels right to you and feels good and feels healthy. And you're kind of just sweeping away the old patterns that didn't serve you, and you're kind of doing it with ease. And it's kind of like, I'm not going to miss it. Like I can still certain things you can still partake in here and there. Like, if you've had habits like that didn't serve you before, maybe you just do it once a week instead of like 5 times a week, things like that. It's like, I just don't have an attachment to that anymore, and I'm more passionate about this new way I'm headed, and I'm more aligned, and this feels right. So why would I go back? I made this change. Alrighty, group number 2. That was your message. Thank you so much. I hope I see you in another reading. All right, my lovely human. If you'd like to be supported by me more deeply through powerful energy healing transmissions that serve as monthly anchor points to keep you grounded and aligned to your most fulfilling and abundant path, along with access to a growing collection of exclusive soulful pick-a-flower readings, I'd be honored to have you in the sacred space of my Little Flower Patreon community. My intention is for this space to be a spiritual lifeline to healing, clarity, and soul alignment. A sacred container that leaves you feeling free and safe to unfold into your most authentic and abundant nature. I've made this accessible at just $8 per month, intentionally so as the number 8 symbolizes abundance, balance, and unity. If you feel called, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to the Little Flower YouTube channel, as all of these exchanges help not only for my channel growth, but for me to feel connected to the fabric of the community who finds their way into the energetic space I've created. Feel free to browse my single infinite prayer energy healing transmissions, check out my adorable merch featuring my bee and flowers logo and the phrase, "Hello, lovely human," and leave me a tip, or in other words, buy me a coffee if you feel called to. I sometimes offer personal readings, so be on the lookout for open slots for those as well. Everything you'll need is listed in the description box below. Last but not least, I have another YouTube channel called Soul Hearken, which is my heart and soul in video form. If you feel called to it, I'd be honored to have you over there as well. With so much gratitude, I send you prayers of happiness, peace, health, and wealth. You are honored and loved. Hello, lovely human. Welcome to The Little Flower. If you have not been to my channel before, my name is Krista, and I use the presence and essence of flowers along with the tarot to deliver messages to help you align to your most authentic and abundant nature and path. So for today's reading, I'm doing a full moon in Capricorn reading. It is coming up this Thursday. It is currently Monday when I am channeling these messages for you. Hopefully it'll be posted tomorrow on Tuesday. But yeah, the theme of the reading is the next step in your manifestation journey. So group number 1 and 2 were beautiful, and I can't wait to see what we have here. You chose this lovely China rose, and it is symbolic of love, beauty, and passion, which, you know, I think is most people think of roses as symbolic of love and beauty and passion. So it's kind of cliche. But when I saw that symbolism, that piece of the symbolism still popped out at me. And there's something to be said about things that are cliche, I guess. So they're cliche for a reason because it makes sense. So I think there's something here. You know, I didn't really dive too much in it in group number 1. They had the China rose too, but for you, I do believe that you're walking into a part of your journey that's going to be filled with art, music, joy, dance, freedom, happiness, romance, love, passion, creativity. Yeah, I see a lot of color. I see a lot of like just beautiful unfoldment of your creativity. Your connection to the muse is popping out. Like maybe some of you are artists. Either way, there's a lot more just art and beauty and culture and love and just, yeah, so many beautiful things ahead for you. But let's go ahead and get into the cards. So I pulled a card from the Sacred Rebels Oracle, and you got, number 11, Diving for Light. Ooh, okay, there are seahorses on this card. That may be significant for some of you. This person is underwater. So maybe water signs. You could be a water sign or have a lot of water placements. Nonetheless, I feel as though a very watery energy is coming through, and that makes sense for the energy that came through the rose as well. I do believe watery energy is associated with dreaminess, with art, with music, so with that fluidity of life. So yeah, I really just think what you're manifesting is a really colorful, beautiful, exuberant life. I'm going to pull a couple cards from the Shaman's Dream. See what else comes through for you, group number 3. There's like I wanted to say, like, you are absolutely beautiful and stunning. There's like a striking energy coming through, and even a little nerves. Like I'm almost nervous to speak to you. So that's interesting. That could be, you know, nodding to a potential new romance. You know, a lot of times there are nerves in the beginning, especially like with that striking beauty. Maybe someone thinks you're a striking beauty. But yeah, that's a really nice energy. Yeah, it's like, wow. Like, I can't believe I'm in the presence of this person. Like, wow, I'm so lucky. That's the feeling. Okay, so we have Magician's Sword, Confidence in Your Magic, and Many Masks, The Authentic Self, number 37 and number 38. Maybe those are significant ages for you, or they will be when significant things shift or happen in your life, but it doesn't have to be that. With Many Masks, The Authentic Self, and Magician's Sword, Confidence in Your Magic, and the Magician being about creation, manifestation. And then the phrasing, confidence in your magic. I do believe that you are an artist. I do believe that whatever it is that you do and create in this world is living art. It's art. Whether you deem it as art, it is art. So for me, I would say art is anything that is created from the soul, like coming from a place of pure authenticity, coming from a place of connection to the divine within you, the color and light within you, the truth within you, your authentic nature, something that is birthed into the world from that place. That is art, period. And you have art to bless the world with. I'm going to pull a couple cards from the Earth Magic just to get some more context. This is a very matter-of-fact energy coming through, and the word confidence. Okay, if you're not currently in a really powerful, confident, I want to say like sacred energy, powerful, confident, sacred energy where you are embodied in your craft, and you are immersed in your craft, and you are consistently creating and giving from a holy place. If you're not in that place right now, you will be. You either will be soon, or that is where your life is taking you, to live as an artist, live as someone connected to that muse and intimate with that muse of your soul, and going on that journey of creation that takes you into unknown worlds and takes your art into unknown worlds. Let's see what Earth Magic cards. I almost feel like I was like, these Earth Magic cards can't live up to this beautiful energy. Okay. But we can't go there. We can't, like, this is magnificent. Whatever it is you're creating is magnificent. But you almost can't go there to like put it too much on a pedestal, because it's natural. It's something that comes naturally to you. And it's something that if we all could truly access that level of our authentic nature and work from that place, we all have that ability to create from that holy place. So it's both magnificent and beautiful, and rare, but at the same time incredibly mundane and normal, and a fixture of every human soul. It's just, I think the rare thing is the fact that you've chosen to stay in connection to it, and you've created that space for it, and you've allowed yourself to fall into that flow, and you've made it a priority. So that's the difference. It's like choice. That's the only difference between you and someone who doesn't have access to that part of themselves. We have Dragonfly with Emergence and Whale with Breach. Emergence and Breach are very similar, and more water energy, man, like the dragonfly and this woman coming out of this pond. Emergence, I don't have to explain that. I just wanted to explain that to you, but you get it. Emergence and Breach are obviously like coming out of the water, but I really think it is you being in the water, you being in your creative flow, and just like manifesting from that place, and channeling from that place, and creating from that place. And I think and then you put it out into the world, and that's it, breaching into the world to kind of awestrike people. Like it's like a whale breaching. Like people are awestruck by that. That is what your work does to people. They're just, it's impactful. Even if they don't understand why, it impacts them. It makes a difference in their soul. It transmutes their soul. Again, please replace art with whatever it is that you create, whatever it is you do, whatever it is that you put out on the planet that comes from your soul. The effect of that is like soul stirring in the world around. And I like also the idea of like the breaching and the emergence energy, like you expressing yourself and putting the thing out there. And it's almost like you don't even really worry about what happens after it's out there. It's out there, you're done with it, and then you're right back in your flow. You're right back in the journey of creation. You're not so concerned about the reception of what you've created. You're more in love with the flow of things. You're more in love with that journey of creation, with that relationship with the muse, because it brings you so much fulfillment. It brings you so much joy, and it just makes you feel alive. Okay, I'm going to pull some cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot. See what else comes through. Whoa, overflow. Whew. Oh my God, messy. Maybe that's part of your process. Maybe you're like a messy creator. Like when you're in the middle of it, it just seems like chaos. But when it comes out, it's like perfection. 8 of Wands, love that. The Chariot, damn. Yeah, like the way everything was like blurting out and falling out. The Chariot and the 8 of Wands are like the 2 fastest cards in the whole deck. So maybe there's some sort of like really quick shift that's about to happen for you. But let's see. Ooh, Queen of Pentacles. I love that. Like tempered by that like fast, crazy energy. The Queen of Pentacles is very grounding and solid. So that's nice. 6 of Pentacles. Okay. I feel like you're about to reap like the fruits of your labor in some way. Like something is about to manifest and come to fruition. Yep. With breach and emergence, something is literally coming into fruition. Like immediately. So something, let's see what it is though. I'm curious. Ooh, we have the Magician again. Wow, that's amazing. I can't believe the Magician came out with the Magician's sword. That's so cool. So yeah, I think you know what you're creating. You know where you're going. You are wielding your sword with confidence and you are making shit happen. And it is going to happen soon. Okay. Ooh, the Empress. Holy, this is an amazing reading. This is a powerful reading. 5 of Wands. The Emperor and the Empress. Wow. Wow. I think this is you. Like a lot of times I would read that as like a union, like a partnership energy, and it very well could be. But I believe this is you harnessing both your masculine and feminine energies in a beautiful, meticulous, balanced way. Even though I guess there is weirdly in the middle of these two, we'll look into it, but there is a 5 of Wands, which is kind of like conflict-y energy. So we'll look into that. But ultimately, I feel like you are balanced in your masculine and feminine. So we'll see what is going on with that. And lastly, we have the 5 of Pentacles. It did come out reverse. I don't typically take reversals, but I do feel like it wants to be reversed, but we're just going to leave it upright for now and see what comes through. And I like that the Magician is number 1. And I think all groups in this reading are having brand new beginnings because the ones were really just standing out in both the other readings. But for yours in particular, you do have 11 here in the center. And you have 1, the Magician, in the center as well. So it's 1, 1, 1. So just the birth, like with the Empress, it does feel like the birth of a new life, the birth of new creation, the birth of a new way of being, the birth of something magnificent and holy and meant to be created in this world. There's something that wants to be creative, and with the muse and like creativity and it's making me think of the book Big Magic, and the author writes about her creative, like the way she creates. And she was talking about how one time she had this idea for a book, and like there was like the plot line and the characters, and then she ended up like some life event happened where she had to move to South America with her husband, and she couldn't write the book. And then like, I don't know if it was like the following year or something, she met up with someone at this like book conference, and the woman that she met with, that she had known, it was like an acquaintance, wrote a book that was almost identical to her book. It was just like a little different, you know, like the location was different, but like the plot line and everything was the same. And so the idea behind that is that, you know, there are things that simply want to be created. There are stories that simply want to be told. And, you know, that story was sparked in her first, and she was going to write it, but she couldn't, and she turned it down. And so the story went to someone else. The idea went to someone else. And of course, you know, the way this other person wrote it and created it, it's going to be different. It's going to have a different style. It's going to appeal to different types of people. But the story's still out there. The story got out there because it wanted to get out there. So the muse has a life of her own. And so you are intimate with that connection with the muse, and you are living, like, that's part of the life of your dreams, is following that beautiful path of creativity and the magic of that. So, and that is what the book's called Big Magic. I love that. And you've got the magician. Yeah. So what is this Five of Wands between the Emperor and the Empress, though? What is that? That's insane. Come on. And then I like that the Empress and the Emperor are 3 and 4, and then we have, you know, 5. So, and we have the 5 up here too. 5's a representative of change. It's kind of just making me think of the chaos between the masculine and feminine coming together and creating something. I mean, if you think about the way life is created, it is that the physical act, of course, which is a falling into a flow, a falling into love making, if you will, a falling into an energy that has its own frequency and wave and journey. And, you know, it's very like instinctual, and it doesn't have a rhyme or reason. It just is. And it kind of just does feel like this union that's like causing this like intensity and friction, but then it like bursts something into creation. So it's making me think of like the Big Bang Theory, with everything literally being created out of chaos, you know, out of like this big explosion, with perfection being created from chaos. I think you're meant to embrace the chaos in your life, and you're meant to embrace, and I don't mean like toxic chaos or anything. I think what I mean, I don't mean to embrace the chaos in your life. That kind of came off wrong. I mean embrace the chaos of creation and what that looks like, and knowing that it's messy, and knowing that sometimes it's long, and knowing that it has no rhyme or reason and you can't make logical sense of it. Just all you have to do is fall into a flow and like follow breadcrumbs and sniff out your path and like use your instincts, and you will end up on the other side having created something that the world is meant to receive, that the world needs to receive. And that's it. That's literally it. It's like the birth of something beautiful, and then giving it away as a gift, and then the reception of that gift with gratitude and love, and that gift changing people's lives. Like, that's what you're meant to partake in, and the way in which you're meant to live your life. So with the 6 of Pentacles, you know, they have that like starving artist like archetype, and you're not the starving artist archetype. You are the abundant artist archetype, if there is such thing. You are the abundant artist. You are the artist who reaps overflow from the work that she does for the world around her. Art is a gift, and you are a gift giver. And in return, you receive all the bounty of the earth. You receive all the love of the earth. I'm feeling like floodwaters of abundance just coming in and filling your life with love and peace and harmony and nurturing and sustenance, overflow, freedom, just anything that you could possibly need or desire is at your beck and call on your fingertips. Because you create beauty, you live in beauty. That is who you are. It is natural. You've worked through any blocks around receiving. You've let it go, and you just simply, it's not even an act of receiving anymore. It just is. This is just life. This is how it's meant to be. This is how we're all meant to feel. And you know that. And so you experience that. And you know, you're in that constant flow of giving and receiving, and you're balanced in it. You're trustful in it, and you are able to enter into the chaotic state of creation, because you know you're held in love. You know you're held in something divine. You know you're held in something very protective and beautiful, and so you don't have to worry about being able to exist in that Empress, you know, beautiful feminine energy. You're allowed to be there. In fact, we need you to be there. We need more people to exist there. Oh, and I didn't really think about this, but the Queen of Pentacles is stable and grounded and sufficient. So I think you're embodied in that side of yourself too. Like, you're embodied in the part of yourself that is materially oriented. You're embodied in the part of yourself that is focused on, like, it's kind of interesting that it's next to the Six of Pentacles, which is about that, like, slowly tending to your garden over time. Maybe something you like to do, and maybe this is part of what you do, is creating a garden, like creating food for people, creating food for your family, or even just growing flowers, growing a garden in general. Like, the garden is really coming through really strongly. So what is the Chariot and the Eight of Wands about? That is that fast-paced energy, and that the Chariot typically is about, like, determination and balance. I like that the Chariot's here because it is about balance. Like, you know, sometimes, like, the intensity of your inspiration or the intensity of your process could be overwhelming, but with the Chariot being here, it feels very grounded, very balanced. Like, you've harnessed your creative abilities, and you're so grounded, you're so balanced. You're in the Emperor, of course, is like one of the most like structurally sound kind of archetypes within the tarot, and the Emperor holds this solid ground for the Empress to grow in all her beautiful chaos. So, I mean, I don't even know what to say here. Like, you have everything you need to be this beautiful, amazing artist that you are, and trust in that. So let yourself fall into the flow of your art. Let yourself let go and be chaotic. Let yourself let go and create, and start following breadcrumbs that don't make any sense. You know, like, if you've been out of the flow for a while, I think that's where you want to start. Like, follow the instinctual urgings of your soul, and the things that don't make logical sense. Just go for it, you know, and see where it takes you. There's a path that's meant to unfold for you, and it's like an adventure. It's an open door, and you don't need to know where it leads. You just need to trust the journey and have fun on the journey, and know that you're safe, and you get to live this kind of life. You get to be free in all of this. Oh, what's the Five of Pentacles about? That's my question. What is the Five? Because that's a energy of lack. I feel like this is replacing that energy of lack. So you being in your creative energy and your relationship with the muse, perhaps there's been, like, in your past, maybe a void that you didn't know how to fill. But this connection to the muse and this creativity, this process of creativity is what's going to fill that void. Not the creation itself, but just creativity. That's what fills your void. That's what lights you up. That's what gives you peace. That's what gives you pleasure. And I think you're starting to realize that. You're starting to recognize that process is what it's all about. And the external piece of it, you're just not so concerned about. Maybe some of you in the past were more concerned about the external, the finished product, so to speak, and that could have been causing you a sense of lack because maybe it wasn't being received in the way that you wanted it to, or whatever the case may be, you know, or maybe you overanalyzed it and you judged it and you thought it wasn't worth anything, you know, but yeah, you don't care anymore. That's the whole point. You don't care anymore. You just want to be connected to your truth and on this journey. So that's really beautiful. Really beautiful. I'm going to pull a few cards from the Vibrational Energy Oracle deck. And these will be your last few cards, and then that will be your reading. You are the creator and creatrix all in one. That's what I just heard. Ooh, musical joy. Maybe some of you are musicians and we need your music. Maybe music. Music could be something that sparks your, that relationship with the music, sparks your inspiration. So open the door to new music. Say if you need new music or you're looking for new music, say a prayer and ask the universe, God, whatever you resonate with, to send you the music that's going to light up your soul. And then just, it'll find you. End of days. Oh, whoa, I like that. That's interesting. I almost want to read the book on that one. And then we have breathe deeply. Okay. And then this, I don't know why this one kind of, I only did 3 for the other 2 groups, but this one wants to come out, and it says combustion, which I think makes perfect sense. We were talking about like the Big Bang and everything. Okay, so what is this? End of days and breathe deep. We're going to read from the book, End of Days. Let's see what that is. Okay, okay, I don't know. I'm kind of mind blown right now, because I was just, as I was shuffling, I was thinking about, in, I think it was group number 1, I was talking about like Bible verses. And earlier, I guess, when I had said like God, the universe, whatever you resonate with, and I do, obviously, I would never push my beliefs onto anybody, but, you know, I do resonate with Christianity quite a bit. And you know what? I'm just going to say it. I am a Christian. It feels inauthentic to just not say it. And, you know, that's like, Christianity is the core of me, and I don't subscribe to like all the religious dogmatic bullshit out there. I just have my own personal relationship with Christ, and that is something that makes me feel whole and makes me feel safe and makes me feel protected and loved and seen. And I do believe that Christ is the embodiment of grace. And I think that is the kind of like grace is the middle ground between humanity and God, and it's a gift from God to receive that grace. And so that's why I believe in Christ, because I believe Christ is that grace. And anyway, I didn't expect to say that. I haven't said that yet in any of these readings, because I know a lot of people who come to tarot readings are like anti-Christianity, or what's the I don't know what, like they have like an aversion to it. And I understand that, because, you know, I started out my journey as a Christian. I went to all of these, well, I went to churches, and I went to this one that in particular, I had to deconstruct. I was a Christian, like a religious Christian in my early 20s for like a few years, maybe like 2 or 3 years. And I was being like buying into like all the bullshit. I was just in a really vulnerable place. I think there are culty churches out there. And I had, just from those few years, like I did not grow up Christian. Like, I mean, I went to church as a kid for fun, but like my parents weren't like religious or anything. And so, you know, just like literally like 2 or 3 years of being in the church took me like 5 or 6 years to like decondition out of my brain and being and body. Like the sexual shame, like the, I guess like the weird control-y shit around like your actions and whether or not they're a sin, and, you know, that kind of stuff. Like that took years for me to deconstruct. When, you know, in essence, like Christ is grace, and we're just meant to, like, we're made in the image of God. So we're meant to embody our divinity, embody our light, embody our love, you know, and it's as simple as that, you know, to me, it's as simple as that. And, anyway, you know, I shouldn't have to say this, but I think, you know, being gay is natural. I think, you know, gender is fluid. Like, that makes sense to me. Like, God is like a fluidly gender, like gender, there's gender fluidity in God, you know? So to me, that all feels natural and it just makes sense. So anyway, I don't know what I'm rambling on about. I was mentioning Bible verses in group number 1, and it was just weird because I was like, oh, that's weird. I didn't talk about the Bible. I was judging myself. I was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't mention the Bible, and I don't want to talk about the Bible too much. I was thinking that. And then end of days. And the first literally word in this paragraph, and this is the first card I've actually wanted to read from the deck, by the way, is the Bible. So the Bible talks of an apocalypse, the day of judgment, an end of days. It describes this as the destruction of mankind, whereas the true meaning is much greater and far more conceptual. The vibration of something ending means it opens the universal energies to accepting something new. Accept where you have reached on this journey. Okay, so accepting the ending of something. And I agree, like, the way I interpret the apocalypse, so-called apocalypse in the Bible. I don't know if it's called the apocalypse actually in the Bible. It's called, oh my God, I'm bad. See, like, I call myself a Christian and I'm like, it is, why can't I think of it? Revelations, geez. The book of Revelations. So that book, and I just take it as metaphorical. I believe we're meant to embody new earth in our like cellular being. And we're meant to upgrade, like this literal earth is meant to be upgraded and meant to be like redeemed and ascended. And so like my interpretation of that is like Christ energy, I guess. I don't know how like Christ is redemption. So like it's like the more we embody that redemptive energy within our own being, and the more we've been talking about this artistic journey, like the more we allow ourselves to go on the journey of creation and, you know, of being our true self and expressing that into the world, the more the world and humanity is going to be able to morph into its own authentic nature. So I guess that's my interpretation of, Revelation. But of course, I don't have a lot of static beliefs or interpretations of things. I think I have a core belief of God, and I have a core belief of a good God. And, you know, there are a few other core beliefs I think I hold, but beyond it, it's like, who am I to say, you know? So like I keep it very open. Anyway, maybe some of you need to hear like this whole thing about my faith. I don't know. But anyway, oh yes, breathe deeply. This card, breathe deeply. You're safe to truly be who you are. And it's okay to be misunderstood. That's another feeling that's coming through. It's okay to be misunderstood. It's okay if not all of your creations are like quote unquote winners. They're winners to you because you walked through that process of creation and it changed you. And because it changed you, it changed the world for the better. So it created more space for intimacy. It created more space for authenticity in yourself and in the world and in the collective soul of humanity. So, yeah. So, okay. Anything else? End of days. I kind of love that that's the ending of the 3 readings for this. It's like, I love that the idea of a true ending where something's really, like something you're ready to be done is actually finally truly done. I love the idea of that and the thought of that. It's comforting because I'm sure many of us can relate to that feeling of wanting something to just be finally over. And I do believe there are elements in your life that are finally over and that you are ready to let go of. And that is a beautiful thing. And again, with the message that came through, it's just like the closing of one door is just the opening of another. That's all it is. It's the same thing. So the ending is the beginning. So yeah, alrighty. Thank you so much, group number 3. I really appreciate your presence, and I hope I see you in another reading. All right, my lovely human. If you'd like to be supported by me more deeply through powerful energy healing transmissions that serve as monthly anchor points to keep you grounded and aligned to your most fulfilling and abundant path, along with access to a growing collection of exclusive soulful pick-a-flower readings, I'd be honored to have you in the sacred space of my Little Flower Patreon community. My intention is for this space to be a spiritual lifeline to healing, clarity, and soul alignment. A sacred container that leaves you feeling free and safe to unfold into your most authentic and abundant nature. I've made this accessible at just $8 per month, intentionally so as the number 8 symbolizes abundance, balance, and unity. If you feel called, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to the Little Flower YouTube channel, as all of these exchanges help not only for my channel growth, but for me to feel connected to the fabric of the community who finds their way into the energetic space I've created. Feel free to browse my single infinite prayer energy healing transmissions, check out my adorable merch featuring my bee and flowers logo and the phrase, "Hello, lovely human," and leave me a tip, or in other words, buy me a coffee if you feel called to. I sometimes offer personal readings, so be on the lookout for open slots for those as well. Everything you'll need is listed in the description box below. Last but not least, I have another YouTube channel called Soul Hearken, which is my heart and soul in video form. If you feel called to it, I'd be honored to have you over there as well. With so much gratitude, I send you prayers of happiness, peace, health, and wealth. You are honored and loved.